Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today's the 27th of January, 2017, and it's going to be February here in a couple of days. That just flew right on by. So we got some kit announcements from Aoshima. They're doing their monthly product rollout for all of the kits being boxed into new box sets. Hobby Cat has decided I'm talking, so he's going to interrupt. Don't be surprised if there's a cat coming across the screen here in half a second. And then we just have kit releases. We have a whole slew of stuff come out this week as we expected. So let's get into it. On the kit release side, or the kit announcement side, excuse me, Aoshima has added to the March list the Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 DeLoreans. If you're like, why does he just do that eye roll? It seems like those kits get reissued like every 6 months. I mean, good on them that they sell that well, but it's just like, those are getting reissued again. In April, now these are kits that have existed in the past that are being boxed into the new marketing series, the model car, the tuned model car, and the tuned parts. On the model car front, they're going to reissue the 1992 Mazda AutoZam AZ1. And if you're thinking, didn't they just reissue one of those? Like two of those, right? Well, they reissued the base model AZ1 that comes with the steel wheels. And then they reissued the Mazda Speed AZ1, which of course is a little more sporty. This AZ1 is again the base AutoZam, but it has an optional set of wheels on it. If you've ever seen these kits, there was one with blue car and a box art with a different set of wheels. That's what this one's going to be. That's going to be put into the actual catalog itself. I believe you only do get the optional set of wheels. It doesn't come with the steelies. At least it didn't in the past. We'll see how it gets packaged in April when it comes out. Then they're going to reissue the 1991 Honda Beat and the 1991 Suzuki Cappuccino in their base model forms. Just putting them again into the catalog sort of permanently, if you will. And then they're also going to reissue the 1979 Toyota Mark II Chaser. These are the MX-41 chassis, which puts them into being fourth generation. These cars sort of look like a Mustang 2 to me, but that being said, these were separate kits in the past, the Mark II and the Chaser, so they're going to combine them into one little Fujimi thought stealing, if you will, there. So that, if you're interested in that type of car, and again, these are Best Car Vintage kits, so they are motorized and all the rest of that stuff, but it is the first time that they've combined the two kits into one. Obviously, there's not that much difference between a Chaser and a Mark II. It's mostly grills and emblems and things like that. In the tuned car series, they're going to reissue the 1991 Nissan Silvia S13 Vertex Ridge and the 1982 Datsun 720 pickup, the lowrider version of that kit. So I know the Datsun's a very popular truck, obviously, with a lot of people, be it doing a lowrider or trying to do just a regular stock truck. So that, again, is one of those kits that will be added to the catalog permanently rather than just being a random reissue. And then the Tuned Parts series are reissuing a 4-pack. How we've talked about before, Aoshima wheels come in sets of 4 as far as how they were released. Now, these don't all come in one big box, but it's individual wheel sets. But these 4 are on the same tooling set, and they are the Ativan RS DF, the RG3, and the Ativan Racing GTs, along with the Enki JTC 01RRs. Funny story about those wheel sets, or not so funny story about those wheel sets, depending how you look at it. The list comes out, and I go over to Hobby Japan to do my ordering, because I want the AutoZam, because it'll be the next one for the collection. There's a total of 4 of them, so I'll have 3 of the 4. And I ordered those wheel sets because I'm like, ooh, I like those wheel sets. And I don't do that much wheel sets. For people who really know me, my modeling tends to be very factory stock, very replica stock. I don't do a lot of, engine swaps, wheel swaps, all that sort of thing. But I did like all 4 sets of those wheels, so I ordered them. And then I went downstairs into the Stash project itself. And, yeah, I already had all 4 sets of those wheels. So I had to go back on to Hobby Japan to cancel that order. Oops. So on to what is coming out here. One little sort of a teaser here, because by the time a lot of you get around to viewing this, the decal set will probably be released, and that is, as we talked about before, Studio 27 usually does a very late at the month release, and they're going to be doing this set of decals. This is the Daihatsu DTM car, the 1991 car. This, of course, goes to your BMX M3 kit. So if you're interested in this set, which is pretty much I don't want to say it's an iconic set of decals per se, but it's just a different thing than every car being white like they tended to be. This one being brown and gold. I know for the guys, for Sasha and his friend who built the test shots that you see a lot of floating around on Facebook and stuff like that, one of them built it with these. With this livery, using an old set of decals for the Fujimi M3 and had to cut all the decals apart to get them to fit. This, of course, will be sized to fit your BMAX kit, so that is, a benefit, if you will. A couple other things before we go into new kit releases. Playmos has thrown up some 3D prints and little mock-ups, if you will, of their wheel sets for the AMG GT and the McLaren 570S that come with tires. Now, remember, we talked about this before. The AMG GT is going to have 3 sets of wheels. Only this set right here is going to actually come with tires, because the other 2 sets are designed to just be used with the kit tires, because the kit tires really aren't terribly bad in the AMG GT kit. And here you sort of see a little mock-up of the wheels. Now, the wheels don't have the tires on them in this thing, because obviously the mock-ups that you're seeing are 3D printed. Should Playmos follow their normal playbook, these will be soft rubber tires like they were in all of their other wheel sets. In the trans kit for the Miata and the not the Miata did come with wheels, but the Mustang GT came, the Shelby GT 500 kit came with wheel sets, and you can buy an actual wheel set for the MX-5 that does come with rubber tires. They are rubber tires, not just big blocks of resin they expect you to paint black. And then here are the McLaren, the Starfish wheels, if you will. And they are going to come with replacement tires, because the combination of tires that Revell of Germany has included with this, aside from the fact that a lot of them are warped out of shape and look more like an egg than a tire, also just look like crud compared to the actual real car. So, and here's a quick shot of the wheels underneath the kit itself. We talked about these shots real quick here from Aoshima last week. I said I wasn't going to show them, but then I went and downloaded them. So here are the production shots of the Brian James trailer. This kit will be released next month in February at some point, probably at the very end of the month. We should see, this trailer, I believe, was built by Sasha, so this will probably be shown at the almost a German Toy Fest, the Nuremberg Toy Fest, which of course is in Germany, but not what I meant to say. So that'll be coming out. And some of my friends are like, well, it's a nice trailer, but it's just it's European and it doesn't do anything for me. All right, well, then go build your own. I don't know what to tell you. And then here are the shots of the upcoming 2016 Toyota 86. Remember, Scion doesn't exist anymore, so the U.S. Version of this will be the Toyota 86 as well. The red car is just the factory stock version. And then this black car you see here is the optional wheel set that comes with the Work of Motion wheels. I believe both of these kits come with engines, at least they should. And the only difference between the two of them legitimately are the wheels. Obviously, the way these test shots were built, the red one has the wing and the black one has a wing delete, but the parts will all still be there on both. And then, I guess that does cover everything I wanted to talk about pre-kit release. So let's talk about actual kit releases. On the domestic side of things, you have, let's see here, one more kit out of round 2, and that will be the Barris commemorative edition of the ice cream truck. This is another kit I've heard a lot of people complain about, the fact that it's coming back out, and there are like 5 reissues of it, and what are we supposed to do with it, and blah, 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 blah. It's the only reissue that's going to come with the actual Barris ice cream decals. If you look at any of the other versions of this kit that have been reissued since the original kit came out back in the 1970s, I guess, they've all had various random ice cream generic decals attached to them. None of them have had the actual Barris tied in, Barris designed decals. This also comes with pad printed Firestone tires instead of just the plastic tires, or might have been rubber tires, but the old tires that were in them. So, from a Barris collector standpoint, they'll want it. For anybody who wants to build one that looked like the actual vehicle rather than just being a generic reissue, you may also be interested in this as well. Over on the Revell side of things, the Revell kits for this month have come out, and they are the 51 Ford Anglia Drag Coupe, the Gasser. This is an SSP. Notice this gold sticker up there after the word coupe. That means that this is a limited run of, their limited runs are usually about 3,000 kits, somewhere around there. So when this sells out, it's gone again until they decide to reissue it. It's not the Disney Vault. They don't put things away forever. But this sort of has a throwback decal scheme to the original kit and sort of a throwback box art. Obviously, they are trying to, I don't know, make the kit look like it's really running in a drag race. The box art guys at Revell, really, I don't know. They went to that art school. You remember those things in late night commercials where they had you trace the teddy bear and you mail it in, and suddenly you got to be an art student? I'm pretty sure they came from there. And then the other kit that is released on the American side of things is the '57 Chevy Black Widow 2-in-1. You can build a regular stock '57 150 out of this, or you can build the NASCAR Black Widow. Is what they called the chassis prep that they did for the NASCAR race back then. It's a good kit. It's based on the new Tool 150, the new Tool '57 Chevy kit. Obviously, just de-trimmed, and you lose the back seat and things like that because the 150 was more of a utility vehicle than it was a passenger car. It's still just a really cool kit as far as I'm concerned to build it factory stock 150 out of it. I know the NASCAR guys like it for the NASCAR stuff, but it's pretty much the only base trim, stripped out, if you will, 57 Chevy that you can, get your hands on. A lot of base trim of anything, really. I mean, it's not like they've done a 150, 56, and 55 too. But that kit is a reissue. It's been out before. I guess it's not available anymore. I can't remember if any of my local hobby shops still have the old issue on the shelf. But anyway, it's been reissued. And then from the Revell of Germany vault over here into the United States is the 1968 Volkswagen Beetle police car. Just a straight reissue of the new Tool 68 Beetle from a few years ago. There are 2 lighting options with this, as well as 2 decal options that include each 2 different liveries. So you can build basically 4 different versions of a police car out of this kit if you're interested in historic German police vehicles, because obviously it's going to be a German car. Remember, this is a German spec 68 Beetle. There was so much crying and whining when this kit was boxed into a Revell US box that they didn't turn it into a US model. They've never done that ever. I don't know why anyone expected them to, but there was still that whining and complaining. So be aware, it is a German spec Beetle. More clearly now because it's a German police car, but it's a German spec Beetle. That will take us overseas, I believe, yes. And we'll start with... I guess we'll start with Hasegawa, yes. Hasegawa reissued their 2 rally cars for the Safari Rally. One is the 1970 East African Safari Rally Nissan Bluebird 1600 SSS. There is, of course, the just regular factory stock version of this kit as well. And then the other one is the 1971 East Africa Safari Rally, and that is the Nissan 240Z. Now, both of these cars won the rally, so they are winning vehicles if you are interested in that part of the history of them. And basically, like I said, they're just reissues of existing kits. They've been out of production for a little while now, so not surprising to see them come back, especially since Hasegawa is on this historical rally kick, if you will, right now. Anyway, Fujimi reissued 1 kit so far in January. There have a couple of things that are still pending, but I don't know if any of them are going to come out, because right now it is Chinese New Year, which means that a lot of production, even if the kits aren't being manufactured in China, a lot of the people are still getting their boxes and things like that done in China. So you hope to see, if they don't come out in the next couple of days, then they didn't get them done in time, and they'll have to wait until, probably the end of February at this point, which is sort of disappointing. Excuse me, guys, because a few things that have been expected for a couple of months now are still being delayed. So it is what it is, I guess. But Fujimi issued this, and this is the Daihatsu Midget 2, the little, barely a 4-wheel vehicle. There's only 1 seat in it. This being done as the Japan Post little pickup vehicle. I assume this would be for very tight quarters urban delivery, if you will. I don't believe it would actually hold any box from Hobby Link Japan that I actually receive. But being that, it's just a neat little item. Basically, if you have the Daihatsu Midget kit that was reissued a year and a half or maybe closer to 2 years ago now, this is that same kit just with a big box that you build and stick on the pickup bed on the back. And that'll take us over to Aoshima. And this list of things that I'm about to show you finishes Aoshima's kits for January. So for one time in a long time, they've gotten all their kits out on time. And so what those kits were at this point are two of the tuned car kits that we were waiting on, and they are the top secret Nissan Skyline GTR. This is their R34 kit, of course. I'm not a really terribly big fan of their R34 kit in the chassis. It has a great deal of molded in detail. It doesn't look terrible if you spend your time detail painting it, but if you compare it to, say, the Tamiya R34, Tamiya's kit has a great deal more parts that are separate, not requiring quite so much, painting and masking and more painting that this kit does. But Tamiya's R34s are all pretty much factory stock. I mean, the Z-Tune, it was done by Nismo, which is Nissan, so that's factory stock too, to a point. Aoshima has the tuner versions of them, if you will. And the top secret kit's just neat in general as far as, the body kit and the wheels and things like that. And then the other thing that has been reissued is the Cunny Z's Toyota. I believe it's a Chaser, JZX 100. This is basically the old D1 Grand Prix car that is just devoid of decals. I see a lot of people on Facebook, especially, and a couple of Japanese modeling groups that I'm in, say, oh, well, the D1 kits, which they make them, D1 kits, which they make them, they're so expensive, blah, blah, blah. Well, A, they're not that expensive. You get them from Japan. Use the resources of Yahoo Auctions for that. And two, all of those kits are still being reissued on a fairly regular basis. They just don't have the D1 Grand Prix tie-ins anymore, which makes sense to me because they're cars from the 2000s. And while I understand there are some people who would build historical division, the D1 Grand Prix, which is a drifting series, I understand that people who build them that way, but most people that I see pick them up don't end up using the decals anyway. Now, I don't know if that's because the decals are trash at this point in time or what, but it's like, if you ain't going to use the decals, why do you want the D1 Grand Prix kit specifically? This kit is the D1 Grand Prix kit. It just doesn't have the decals for it. Save yourself $60 and buy this $20 reissue. And then there are, of course, 4 wheel sets that were coming out this month, and they are these are all 18-inch, 18-inch Volk Racing TE37 RTs. The Graham Extreme, or the Graham, I can't remember what the hell they call these wheels exactly. Graham Lights, there we go. I had to bring up a bigger picture. Graham Lights 57 Extremes. The Work Emotions. These are basically the same wheels that you're going to get in the custom version of the Toyota 86, actually, and then the Workmeister S1 3-pieces that are actually a one-piece wheel in the box. And last but not least from Aoshima is their next supercar, the modified Aventador into the Aventador Super Veloce or Super Veloce. So this kit has not shown up necessarily on every vendor website, but I got billed for it today, so I know it's out. This basically has, we've talked about the kit when the test shots were shown. You got a new front bumper, front diffuser, a new rear bumper, rear diffuser, a new rear wing, new wheels, and a couple other pieces there. Most of it, still being just the Aventador coupe. But it's, you could make me a model kit of every Aventador, and I'd buy every single one of them. I'm not that huge a fan of the Aventador, really, but I just love the ability to build the range of the vehicle. One of those things that just really tickles my fancy when it comes to, model kits in general is being able to build a range of vehicles. Anybody who knows me knows I have a lot of kits that seem like they would be a duplicate of other kits, but they're very, very minor variations of this. This is especially true in the 40-some-odd Nissan Skylines that I have. None of them would build exactly the same as another one. They're all just a little bit different. And so being able to build an Aventador and the Roadster and the 50th Anniversario and now the Super Veloce, give me a 50th Anniversary convertible, a Super Veloce convertible, a Roadster, I guess technically would be the proper term for that. And then, there's the, I just would build every Lamborghini you'd give me just because I enjoy the ability to do that. There really is at this point, other than a gap in historical Lamborghinis. I mean, you have the Hasegawa Miura, but that's really pretty much it. You could really, from the 1980s, from the Countachs up between Fujimi kits, which, aren't the greatest Diablos, or You know, and they're the ones that made the Gallardo and the base model Murcielago, if you will, because obviously Aoshima is the Super Veloce as well. You could really, from the 1980s through present day, with the new Hurricane kit, you could build pretty much every Lamborghini in every different version that has ever been in, you know, from 1983 to current. So just keep plugging them little variations in there. I will purchase them religiously. Anyway, guys, that is what we have for this week. Basically, if you're looking at this list, there were 2 kits from round 2 on the AMT side that did not come out, and then Fujimi has 2 kits that were scheduled to come out this month, as well as like 3 or 4 things that were scheduled to come out sometime between November and December that have still not seen the light of day. So I don't know when we're going to get them, honestly, because February, they don't have anything scheduled for February at this point, but they have a giant slate of things for March. So hopefully by the end of next month, they will have everything cleaned up, or else this backlog is going to continue. So anyway, one last thing. There's something thought rattling around in here. I'm still babbling. Is the Nuremberg Toy Fair is this coming weekend, the first weekend of February. So we might hold the show until Monday, depending on what type of photos we get and what kind of kit information there is. Because a lot of the stuff we know about and we've talked about before, but there may be some, we're waiting on like, ICM has a few things that are going to come out. Again, we've talked about that and before, and I guess I should have grabbed the stuff and then shown it to you. But ICM has a few things we found out about in terms of they're going to do more 125th figures or 124th figures, and they're going to do another version of the Model A, or the Model T, excuse me, and that's going to be a light delivery van. And then, of course, we're waiting to see what Heller's going to do. Does Meng have any cars? Doesn't sound like it. And, waiting on all that good European stuff. Maybe we'll get some test shots of the new, upcoming Porsches. If not, maybe we get a test shot of the current Porsches that are supposed to come out, the 934 race cars. They're, supposed to come out this month, or I should say next month. So, should be interesting. So, depending on what we see going into the weekend, I might hold the show till Monday. If not, if it looks like it's going to just be me kind of things, then I can just hang on to them until the following week. We'll do that. So anyway, guys, like I said, have a good weekend. Gary Kolchak and the 11th annual 24-hour build are currently ongoing, starting noon on Saturday through noon on Sunday. If I remember when this uploads, I'll throw a link in the description. Hopefully I'll get it up before the build's over. And if not, still, it's a Facebook link, so if you hate Facebook, tough titties. But for everybody else who's on Facebook, if you're not part of the group or aware of it, I'll throw a link in there so you can watch those guys stay up all night on Saturday night with the 24 hours of Daytona and build model cars. So anyway, guys, see you on the other side.